A proverb a day makes the folly go away. Proverbs 12:8. A man is commended according to his good sense, but one of twisted mind is despised. When you're looking at your life, when you're looking at the people that you've come across, let's try to put them in like two separate categories for just 1 second. Think about the individuals that you've come across that's made some good decisions. How often do you flock towards them? How often do you take their advice? How often do you seek guidance from them? How often do you like being in their presence? Now, take those same questions and apply it to somebody who's maybe a little on the impulsive side, someone who may be a little selfish, who doesn't really think too much of anything outside of them. Somebody who may have a miscued mindset of how things work in society and work with church and their faith. The things that they say is sometimes questionable, maybe entertaining, maybe funny, but questionable. And you kind of see the difference between the two. Sure, it's cool to have somebody that, that's hilarious and that, may say some outlandish things that may be funny because we all like to be entertained. And maybe this person may be that one individual that's always willing to get you out of a bind, whether it be some altercation in a bind type situation, or just ready to, bear up their arms for their brother and stuff like that. Okay, cool. That's fair. But how far does that get them? How far does what one say actually get them? How far does that get you? Whereas to the person on the other hand who has some type of discernment, who actually makes decisions based off of what's going on around them and not just themselves, who actually cares for things that's going on and makes decisions that's going to be the best outcome for individuals, maybe their family, maybe the workplace, maybe the church, or maybe just them themselves. Yo, that's a good decision. I may try to work on that. Or yo, that's actually some good insight. Maybe, let's meet up and then you'll tell me some more about it. Or, oh, you know what? I didn't think of it like that. You actually have a good point. Maybe I will start to try and do something different to try and better myself. This all stems from discernment, your way of thinking, the way that you interpret certain situations. Which person are you dealing with? Which person would you rather be around? A lot of times I'm seeing that these YNs, these young dudes, they just like to hang around the people that just care for themselves. At the end of the day, when you look at the root of it, it's just guys that care for themselves and themselves only. They're not worried about other people who they're affecting, whether it be like their parent or whether it be like their siblings or whether it be like their friends and stuff like that. They don't care. They just do things for themselves. They may say, "Oh yeah, it's all me for the family" and stuff like that. But when we look at the root of their actions, a lot of it is based off of selfish ambitions. Now, can we say that that's for every situation? No, because there's some people that feel like this is all that they got. Sports may be the only thing that they got. They don't have the brains and the smarts to really come up with anything else at that time. That's how they feel. That's how a lot of them feel. Oh, the rap game is all that we got. I could rap about all these struggles or lack thereof and try to, create a facade of who I actually am and how I grew up. But I can make some type of money off of it and then get my family out the streets and whatnot. Yeah, that's all cool and dandy. But think about what it's going to take for you to get to that point. Think about all the things that you're going to have to experience in order to get to that point. So you have to make these decisions. But a lot of times it become a little on the selfish side as opposed to anything that requires some type of discernment. A lot of times I don't really see rappers that are just like 100% clean unless they're like, the Christian rappers. And even then, some of them may have gone through some stuff themselves and we just don't know about because it's not out in the open. Granted, we can say that about everybody. But the important thing to really take into this is, how are we looking at life? How are we looking at life? And when we speak, when we talk, when we're going through with other people and when people are looking at us and looking at the way that we do things and we live our lives, how is it that we're being portrayed as? Growing up, especially when I was in college and high school, I knew of guys that live selfish lifestyles. I knew of women that live selfish lifestyles. I know of women that made terrible decisions, had zero discernment, and just very impulsive. Guys as well. on both sides. Let me put on both ends. They made foolish, dishonest, manipulative decisions. And I was able to see that. And because of stuff like that, I tended to not really associate myself with those people if I didn't have to. If it was a forced situation and we just happen to be there, then I mean, I'm there, I'm there. That doesn't mean I was really necessarily, trying to take part in things that they were doing. Eventually, I knew that there would be trouble that would be lurking because that's what they always had around them, was always trouble. Was it fun at some points when I was younger, little? Yeah, of course it was fun because I was little. But then once I started to really get the idea and get the hang of, hey, if I misbehave or if I do something that I'm not supposed to, I'm not going to like what the outcome is going to be. And that was kind of my first thought of everything. How is this going to affect me afterwards? If I get caught or if I don't get caught, how long am I ever going to have to keep up this lie? Even when you're dealing with people, the conversations that you have with them, how foolish are the words that's coming out of my mouth? The older you get, you realize that some of the foolish stuff that some people may say that may seem funny and entertaining are actually really dumb. They're actually really dumb, and they say a lot about the person and the lack of, of thought process that they really do or that they really keep up. You find people that are like very manipulative. You see how they operate. You see how they work. And you're just like, oh, this is what you're about. Okay. You should find yourself talking to them a lot less. Or in situations like I was describing with my wife not too long ago, it's you talking to them less and you only talk to them in matters of just a checkup and you relay specific information if you're okay with it, if it's a testimony to you and you're fully aware of how it can be manipulated to then be able to use it as some type of influence to the other person, because you can only be an influence to so much and they'll only take so much. They're either going to take it or they're going to leave it, one or the other. But at the end of the day, it came out of your mouth and into their ears. So it's up to them to decide. That's the most that you could do when it comes to dealing with people. But when you're coming into this sense of dealing with manipulators, you only associate yourself with them with so little, because you don't want to be caught in situations where you yourself are now being manipulated. But at the end of the day, they are still human beings and they need your light. So where your light shines, just make sure you're still visible for them. Don't be in a completely separate room where the wall is completely blocking out all of the light that you're shining. Just be far enough to where they can still see you. And if they wish to go towards your light, then they can. It's available for them. Because that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to uplift people, encourage them, and guide them into the way of Christ so that we can see them in heaven. But it first starts off with their behaviors, and you can't control their behaviors. So most that you could do is just spew forth the truth, and they'll decide moving forward from there. But then when you have the person that has that discernment, that understand things, you see how certain people gravitate towards those that have wisdom, depending on who you are, depending on the community that you're in. You notice how the person that tends to be like the smartest in the class, people tend to gravitate towards them. In college, they start to gravitate towards the person that's the smartest in class because they have the wisdom, they have the knowledge. When you're in a church function, I don't think the one that's like being all out and stuff like that is getting most of the attention, or people are drawing to them. Actually, let me not put it like that. When you're older, when you're an adult and you're actually trying to do something, the person that provides the wisdom, the person that, shows that he's loyal, the person that has self-control, people gravitate towards that because they can see there's less issues here. Let me stick with the same side. There's less issues here than there is over here. There's less conflict over here than over here. The majority of people that are sane do not like conflict. They don't like drama. They don't seek out drama. If you seek out drama, you're seeking out things of this world, and that's not going to get you anywhere. You're seeking out issues, that's things of this world. We shouldn't be seeking out these things. So naturally, people are going to be drawn to this energy over here, drawn to this spirit that's over here, drawn to the light that's over here, and not the darkness that's on this side, because this darkness is just foolishness, stupidity to an extent, a lifestyle that is not sought out by those that are seeking the truth. And when you find people that seeking the truth, that's how you find real people, because we're trying together, and we're growing together. And this is what the Bible says for us to do, is to come and encourage and live with one another so that we can grow and uplift God. But you can't do that with people on this side. The most that you can do with people on this side is to still be the light that they can see. That's what you can do. That's what we are to do. We are to be the light in the darkness. So while they're sitting in the dark, they see the light. Eventually, they want to come over to the light. They can come over to the light. That's absolutely fine. But you shouldn't take your light and try to force it over to them, nor just go into their side just to be with them. So when we're talking about looking into our lives ourselves, what is it that makes us different? What is it that draws people to us? Is it your ratchetness, your ghetto-ness, for lack of a better term? Is it your craziness, your humor in certain things? Or is it you being calm, you being serene, you having good judgment, you're making good decisions, you do things in life that always uplifts somebody? That's one thing that I've always tried to live. I want to be in a circle. I don't want to be in a circle. I want to only gravitate people that want to know the truth just like I do. I only want to gravitate people that want to grow just like I do. I only want to gravitate people that want to encourage just like I want encouragement. The mindset that you have, you're going to attract people of that same mindset. If you're seeking to be wiser, to be smarter, the only way that you can do that is to be around people that are wiser and smarter, that have good judgment, that have self-control, that have all of those fruits of the spirit. You're not going to get that being around foolish people. And if you just want to remain foolish and you want to be of the drama, then of course you're going to be around those people. You're not going to be around people that are trying to live a different type of lifestyle. No, you're not going to find them. You're going to find those that you match with mentally. So until you change, renew your mind. If you're over here, until you change, renew your mind, you're never going to get over here. And that's just point blank, period. But at the end of the day, guys, as always, don't take my word for it. Read the Bible yourselves. I'm going to catch you on the next one. Take it easy. Peace.